How's it going, internets? I hope you're having a lovely day. It's that time again. It's time to get into some animation, time to have some fun, time to get creative, get that imagination running wild, and it's time to get inspired. And today's inspiration comes from the wonderful, the talented, the amazing Brian Bolland. And if you're not familiar with his work, check right over here. He is a just stupendous comic book cover master, really. He's done work. My favorite stuff that he's done is the Tank Girl stuff. If you're not familiar with Hewitt and Martin's, can't speak today evidently. Tank Girl, you should definitely check it out. But I wanted to show a couple of these. He did a great. Oh no, I'm not going to be able to think of the name of it. Batman series that's Killing Joke, I believe. And that was great. I loved this little creature. It was a little sketch of his, but I thought it was really fun, really goofy. And I also really like the line of action and the way that he draws your eye from one thing to another. So it's instead of just going straight through, he does that nice little loop which leads your eye all the way from like the tip here throughout all the way back into there. Just a nice line to follow through, which creates a great composition there and good posing and great facial expression. And I love all the little hands and feet and stuff too. And this one is great, solid drawing. I was reading a couple of things about him last night, and they referred to him as, I'm probably going to get this wrong, but something to the effect of the Norman Rockwell of the comic book fantastical universe. And I think it's totally true. You can see everything's just really solid drawing. Great grasp of anatomy, great line work, great posing, good composition and layout. You know, he's got a little bit of those really almost animation stylings where you get that really nice expressions with the squash and the stretch, everything through there, and the facial expressions as well. Yeah, he worked on Judge Dredd as well. That was another one that he was big on. Yeah, I love his work. Love it. And this was a cover that he did for Superman, going back to kind of some older styling comic books, and I really like that stuff too. There's some fun ones. And this is a great little sketch of a character that evidently he didn't use, but I liked this part where he has the just for basically a chicken in a unique place, and then for a chicken, yeah, you get it. But I thought that was a really interesting choice there, for sure. This little top hat, and I really like the facial expression and how almost frog-like the face is as well. Again, super solid, amazing stuff. But yeah, I want to share a quote with you guys that I found of his as well. It's from an interview that he did called, and basically, he said, drawing comes naturally, but also it's hard work. It never gets easier. You soon find it's hard to draw, but you do it because you don't know how to do anything else. And I think that's a really true quote. And it's not that you don't know how to do anything else. Obviously, people can do other things, but it's just that I feel like once you get into something so far, that's really just how your head knows how to work and how it knows how to think. And it's not that you couldn't retrain and relearn how to do something else, but that's just where you're naturally drawn to, and that's where once you've spent so much time dedicated into the craft of whatever it is that you guys are into, it's just that's what you want to do, and to not do it just doesn't feel right as an individual. And I like that other part too, where he said, there's stuff that comes naturally, but also it's hard work, and it never gets easier. And I think that's true of the creative process. A lot of people, you'll find a lot of things where I want to learn how to draw, and there's a couple of books that always get mentioned, and it's like, okay, and then you learn how to draw, but really each and every time you sit down and you animate a scene, or you sit down and you do a great drawing, or you sit down and write a song, you definitely want to learn the fundamentals and the foundation stuff, but each time it's got different challenges, it's got unique things, it depends on what kind of mood you're in, how much your brain is focused on the thing. So it's not like learning math where, and again, this is probably lower level math, not super high level math, where I learned that 2 and 2 is 4. doesn't always work like that. It's a creative thing, and it's not just like you learn it and then you know it. It's a continual growth and relearning and going back and looking at the basics again, or trying to push a different area of your work, and then realizing that, like, okay, well, I can do great hand poses now, but my torsos look off, and then you have to go for work on there, and just trying to find or you can do, really great characters, but you can't do anything with layout or background or any of that kind of stuff. And it's the same thing goes with animation. We focus more on kind of character animation in these videos, but there's a whole world of modeling and rigging and VFX and cloth particles and hair and all the stuff that also goes into feature animation and everything that we don't even touch, and that's a whole other world and a whole other journey. So I don't think you're ever really done, and it never really gets easier. It just gets different, really, and you get different as you grow and as you learn things and as different things happen in your life and everything too. But I'm starting to ramble, so let's go ahead and get into some animation. This is the Creature Rig. It's a free rig you can grab over on Creative Crash, and if you are not familiar with what we'll be doing for the rest of the video, we give ourselves 48 frames, 2 seconds of animation, go off and find a rig that I've never used before. It's a free resource that you guys can play around with, and kind of go from there. A little bit of just over the shoulder, hang out with me while I animate. A little bit of instruction, or kind of talk you through how I'm doing it in the process. And the main goal of this stuff is to help you guys feel like you're not alone in your creative day every day. That you got a buddy out there who wants you to do well and wants to support you and encourage you and keep you motivated. And also I hope that through doing these videos or watching these videos, whether it's the consistency or the quality or what's involved in any of them, that you just get inspired to go off and create your own stuff. Whether it's, I learned something new today, or we talked about something different, and you go off and you try it, or you think about it, or whatever, or you see us and you totally disagree with me, and then you go off and you think about how much you disagree. Comment back and let me know, because I'm never gonna say I'm a master at any of this stuff. I'm growing in a journey just like you guys are. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So I was thinking for this one, put the hands in IK, and I was thinking kind of a little more of a cycle here. There we go. And just turn the IK FK blend on, because I thought we'd do like kind of a creepy, crawly cycle. It's getting towards Halloween time. It'd be fun to do something a little bit different. And again, I've never used this rig. It looks like there's some stuff that's already kind of deforming here, so we gotta be aware of all of that as well. But that's okay. Maybe there's a high res and a low res. They're just smooth, so maybe we'll try turning that on when we're all done. See if that helps us a little bit more. Okay, let's go ahead and get that over, down a little bit more. It's a really cool face. I like that. Whole, I don't know if that would be like a bone or what that would be, but like I'm gonna do like a bone helmet kind of thing. It's really cool, unique style there for this rig. I think we'll just kind of do a quicker walk crawl cycle. It's kind of the idea I had for this one. Something like if you saw it coming down in the hallway at you like this, that you maybe get a little freaked out, maybe run away from, kind of thing. These guys down. Do kind of what I call like Tarzan hands from if you ever saw Disney's Tarzan, they always do those kind of knuckle walks. I really like doing that kind of thing for crawling. Or you could do hands, but I think sometimes I do them a little bit more where it's straight up and down versus having the knuckles out like this, more like that. But either one of those things works, and usually it helps to be able to keep the character not as focused on the ground. You can arch the back up a little bit more because it gives you an extra couple of inches, as it were, to get the arm down rather than trying to do a flat plant on the ground with the palm. You'd have to bring the shoulders down and the body down so you can keep it up a little bit more. And what we're really doing for this is we're just, and make sure you just have your nerve curves, nerve surfaces, and polygons selected so we're not grabbing the wrong things. We're just creating kind of a storytelling pose, something that gets the feel of this character from just the first viewing of it. And let's just turn that smooth thing on just to see. Just turn it on. Doesn't really change anything. Oh well. We'll leave it for now. It's okay. We'll just have some intersections and stuff. That's not really how it would break down in a studio environment. That wouldn't really normally fall to us. That would be something that would be more of a rigger or the person who is coming by to really add those final textures or the skin or the fur layer or anything like that on there. And again, it's always good to be able to do a lot of things, but with trying to keep these videos in under an hour, usually per video. Sometimes they go a little bit over. You gotta be aware of a few little limitations. Got a shoulder controller here. Yeah, see how where's the shoulders? Let's go push them up here. Okay, and hopefully there's some finger controllers in here. Bummer. It doesn't have an individual one. That's okay though. And at least we get something in there. I really like it when you have a tip, a mid, and a base controller for each finger. Once you get in and really tweak, get the finger posing that you really want out of there. And let's pull it a little bit less spread. Obviously, gonna have a little bit of intersection stuff here. That's okay. We'll make do. And let's go print those. Actually, let's do something like that. And take the pinky, bring that back a little bit more. Okay. And the other thing I could probably do is we could just thinking we could bring the arms in so we get a little better silhouette this way. If we brought them in a little bit more, but I think I kind of like them out. Maybe that's a little better. Kind of almost like a footballish pose too. I know footballish is a word. Let me know in comments below. As always, Casey makes up weird words. Okay. And we're going to do a cycle, I think, for this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and save our file. We are using Autodesk Maya 2014. As always, there will be in the link below, or in the description below, links to more stuff on Brian Bolland, link to this rig if you guys want to play around with it, and also a link to find out more about the wonderful folks in the phenomenal program that is Autodesk Maya. And let's go ahead and create the polygon primitives cube here. Try to grid off here. We'll go ahead and save our file one more time. Set our frame range from 0 to 48. We're going 24 frames per second here. Go and grab everything. Make sure we just have dirt curves, surfaces, and polygons selected, and set our first key here. Okay. Let's go ahead and put those two. And I think we're going to do. So let's go 50 frames because I think I want these to be a little bit quicker steps. They're going to be smaller but quicker. I was even thinking of doing these on 8s, but I feel like that might be a little too fast, so we'll go 10s. We'll go back to 20. And again, this is just kind of laying the foundation for where we're at here. We'll go bring those back. Bring it forward. Back. Forward. Back. And forward. So let's go and see that. Okay, we're obviously going to need to do a little bit more on this side and a little bit less on the other. So let's go ahead and get our graph editor pulled up here. And let's look at those translate Z's. And we want to amp up this side, so we'll do a little bit more here. And also take the original starting pose and we'll pull it that way. Let's go ahead and look at that now. Still feels like the other side's just getting a bit bigger here, so let's just take the translate Z's there, and we'll go ahead and shorten them a little bit. So let's go ahead and see that now. Okay, it's starting to work alright. Go ahead and save our file. Again, remember, it's always good to save multiple versions and to save often. Let's go with 5. We'll do a little bit of translate Y here, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and down. And this is more of a straight ahead way to animate versus a pose to pose, but I always think it's good to start off with a good solid pose before you get too far into anything, so you can get that. Okay, let's go ahead and clean up those translate Y's, because obviously they kind of trailed off there towards the end. So let's clean that up here a little bit more. And this is just the up and down to add a little bit of bounce to the hips, as it's going to be moving to allow your hips would raise up as your feet would go up in kind of a walk or a crawl situation. So I just want to put that in, and let's see, it doesn't have to be exactly even. We want a little bit of variety in there, so it doesn't feel robotic. And we're going to need to actually go back down, something like that. Go ahead and raise that down, bring that down, just so it cycles a little bit better. Okay, feels pretty good. And let's go ahead and do, let's actually get the passing positions locked in right now on these guys. So we're going to go back in here and we're just going to hit S on our keyboard at all our main keys that we've already locked in, just to make sure that we locked in them. And we're going to not have every attribute keyed on those. We'll get the lift up here. And again, we'll offset the timing of those feet and the hands as well, so that they're not hitting exactly, and the distance and everything, but we're just trying to build our foundation here for it. And that's really just the feet and the hips. Once those are working, we've got a good foundation, and we can start getting into a little bit tighter timing, more interesting posing, a little better paths of action. Really talk about paths of action that much. That's just kind of like the arcs and everything. Okay, now obviously we missed a key here, so we want to zero those out there. Let's go ahead and just take that to there. That's why it's important to make sure we go in and key stuff again before we get our lifts up. Otherwise, we just have our translate Z's keyed and not our translate Y's. Alright, starting to feel okay. And let's get, what should we do next? Do a little bit of side to side action here. So go ahead and lean hips over towards the planted foot. And again, vice versa on the other side. Over there again. Stomach's growling, sorry about that. And we'll bring it actually did a pretty good job of plotting that out, so shouldn't need too much cleanup, but I think we'll minimize it a little bit more too. But overall, pretty good job of keeping that pretty balanced back and forth. Let's do a little bit rotate here. Just to make sure it's not only translating, but it's also rotating into there. That'll help once we get the rotation in the chest working too, give us that little bit of sense of twist in the abdomen, which will help it feel more natural. And let's do a little bit of rotate Y to favor the front planted foot here. And the other side. That way. That way. That way. That way. And back again. And don't forget, it's not something that I've mentioned too much here, but if you are just starting out, definitely I've got tons of videos here on the channel, so hopefully I can help you start to learn or at least get comfortable with Maya. But then once you've kind of gone through some of these videos, definitely there's some phenomenal schools if you're looking to take your animation to the next level. I personally can tell you that Animation Mentor is a phenomenal school, and I loved it. But it's definitely then you get some real help from people who are great mentors. Also, I've heard good things about Anim School and I Animate, and I'm pretty sure, I forget who goes where, but I'm pretty sure I know a couple of the teachers from both of those schools as well now, who are just great people. I just forget who's at which one. So. But if you're just looking, it's nothing, they're not paying me to do that. I'm just saying if you're looking for your next step up and you want to continue progressing, definitely check out any one of those schools. I've heard good things, and buddies of mine have attended, and other people that I know have taught classes there. So, great places to learn if you're looking to check out more about animation and you want some longer frame, I guess, stuff. With that being said, I do try to give you guys every day a new resource to play around with, and try and go through a little bit of a tutorial or exercise or something with you guys to help there be a free resource out there for people who want to see if you want to get into animation, or maybe feel like that you should keep pushing and keep adding stuff to your reel, or keep working on different shots and stuff too, for those of you who already are done with school and haven't got the career that you want, or for those of you who just love animation and want to keep playing around and making new stuff all the time because it's fun. Okay, so a little bit of, sorry about that, it's a little loud here. Actually, I think I meant to do rotate C. Oops, oh well. Oh, no, that's fine, okay. Sometimes I get busy talking and I forget where I'm at here. Let's do a little bit of rotate Y to favor into that front planted foot here, or arm. And we'll probably minimize that a little bit more as well. Let's go and see that now. Head's probably a little looser than I would say is what I want, but we can always scale it back, and I think we'll scale everything on the rotate Y a little bit further back here as well. And even it up a little bit more. And then as always, you guys can always leave comments down below if you have questions about anything, or if you have better ideas. I always find that it's fun, and I do this for myself, and maybe I should be more vocal about it, but I like watching other people's animation and seeing where I can find errors or flaws in their animation, or how I think the posing could be a little bit stronger, or try and learn and go, oh wow, that was a different thing, frame by framing through different shots is always fun. And it doesn't matter if you're into animation or if you're into illustration or any of that stuff, that can all help your inherent visual brain functioning encyclopedia of visual story telling techniques and ideas. Because people think differently quite often. Okay, let's do a little bit of rotate X here. Lift up and down. And then we'll offset this in the chest as well, so it's not too much here. And then we've definitely got to even this out because I'm not doing a very good job of making sure that it's real even amount of up and down there. Okay, so let's look at our rotate X here again. And this is just going to add a little bit of that compression or squishiness to the belly. If you can tell, if you guys have been watching the last few videos, I'm finally starting to get over my cold, so it's definitely helping out. I feel like I have a bit more energy to do stuff with. So I hope, thanks for those of you who stuck around through those last few days as I was having to put out videos while sick, but I think that's an important thing. I debated, and it's kind of what I've done with this channel throughout, is that it's a lot about the challenge as well of putting stuff out every day. That's a difficult gamut to run through some days. I mean, having a life and also trying to put out content all the time it's a creative challenge, definitely. So I whatever medium you guys are in, I definitely I know they have like Inktober or Sketchtober going on right now, and then I think next month is NaNoWriMo. They have a bunch of these great things. So if you haven't tried doing one of those, and I wouldn't adhere, I usually don't kind of toot along to my own drum, which is not the way that you put that phrase, but don't wait around for someone else to give you a reason to challenge yourself. Take it upon yourself to do one, and I think 30 days is a good time to do it. See how long you can, if you can be consistent every day for 30 days in making something new or sharing something creative or coming up with different ideas, and challenge yourself, because definitely grow along the way, and a lot of times it's in different ways than you thought you would end up growing. But I think it's important, and I think as creative people, which you totally are, you're a creative person. Even if you say you're not, you are. I believe in you, you are. It's just a blast to get in there and challenge yourself and just know that you're going to do it no matter what. Even if some days it sucks, at least you're putting out that effort, you're trying, you're learning along the way, you're at least keeping yourself disciplined as well. Do a little bit of drag in that foot here. I love it when you give me some toe controllers. It's strange. I mean, I'll have to mess around with this. I haven't really touched the toe controllers yet. But it's strange that it looks like we get some really in-depth toe controllers, or we get like at least a top and a bottom controller for the toe. We just get kind of a universal one for the fingers. I wonder what the artistic choice was, or the design choice was behind that. Why you get extra controllers in the toes but not enough in the fingers. It's a very cool stylized rig though. I do like it. Very horror themed, which is great for October. I think we might need to do bigger back steps, because with adding a bit of drag in here, kind of just feels like foot isn't really getting off the ground as much. So let's find a good balance between each of the steps so they don't feel exactly uniform, but I feel like there's a little more consistency to each one. I got a good kind of level between them. And let's go ahead and raise them up a little bit higher as well, just so that we make sure that we're getting off the ground with that This foot is not doing as much rotate back as the other one. So let's go ahead and kick that up. Might be too much now on this head. And you do have to be aware that just because the graphs kind of balance out doesn't always mean that that translates to the animation to being even on both sides either. Now, do we have, are these, we should have an elbow controller here somewhere. You see, we just get some. Usually, there's some form of an elbow controller, or what do they call that on the inside? Arm pivot kind of thing here. It doesn't look like there is one, so I'm not gonna worry about that yet. But we'll keep an eye out just in case we see. Because that's like the IKFK switch. This is the leg or the knee controller here. It's strange that we wouldn't have one in the arm. Well, it's not that big of a deal for this one, but I would kind of like the arm to not curl in as much on those ones. But we could probably fix that by doing a little more rotate. Y here. So that does mean though that we need to make sure that we keep that consistent throughout here. If anything, I hope we just made it worse. Let's go ahead and pull it in a little bit more. Let's see that. Okay, let's try and go back a little bit more. It doesn't bother me nearly as much on this side. Maybe it's the amount that it goes backwards that's doing it. So let's look at the translate Z's and let's see if we can push it forward a little bit more. Let's go look at that. Still would like to do a little rotate Y there. Okay, let's go ahead and save our file here. Make sure we're still recording. Haven't checked that for a while. Okay, and let's do a little bit of hands now. Let's go ahead and do a little bit of rotate Z there. Rotate out there, and back. So we're going to drag it back a little bit more, we'll lean it out, and back. Drag it back a little bit more, lean it out, and it'll go back. Okay, and let's kind of go through and try and balance that pretty well. Throughout the moves, feels alright. Let's go to the other side here, make sure we're grabbing the right controller. And go 3 frames after it lifts, it'll drag, and then 3 frames before it lands, it'll lean out. Drag, out, drag. Do you feel like it's actually dragging back too much? And it's okay to sometimes break that, but I feel like that's really probably a little too much here. So let's do a little bit less there. Okay, let's go and look at that now. I think I'm probably going to do kind of like a 3/4 he's chasing or crawling after. Okay, let's go look at that. I think I need to do a little bit of bounce on the head though. It does feel like it's a little too staticky, so let's do a little bit there. A little bit of drag, lift. And again, we'll probably have to do a lot of cleanup still on this. I think that's too overextended for like a... And let's look at those rotate wise, try to clean that up a little bit more. That's good. Let's see that. Okay, let's do that rotate X. Try to clean that up a little bit. Let's see here. I feel like the lean forward on the hands is probably a little too much. So let's get a more quick one here. This part just feels like it's we either need to slow it down or do a little bit less. Add some more frames, or because I want it to feel a little loose but not too floppy. Again, we'll just do a little bit less of that. Let's see here. Okay, let's save our file here. Let's do a little bit of work on the fingers. Go ahead and drag it out here. So we got a little bit of flicker on the fingers. Yeah, feels about right. Set it at 20, we'll give it 32, 40, 52, and then to 25, we'll drag out, 30, curl in, go back in, drag in, curl in a little further. Come on, let's go here. Probably a little too much overshoot on the fingers. we did have that transition a little bit so that they're not going to be exactly the same. So let's go look at that now. Still feel like we could probably do a little less on the overshoots here. Toes down a little bit more. And I think I'm going to do on this hand, but I didn't feel the need to do on the other. Or maybe we'll tweak it. Let's do a little bit of change of the spread. So we're going to lean in a little bit more on the spread. At least on the passive position. Might be a little too much. So let's do, we could vary it too. One be a little less spread, one be medium, just to add some more variety here. And let's look at, I'm going to save this. Let's do the feet, and then I'm going to see if we can do stuff with the jaw, or even this like helmet head thing too. Before we go there, let's go ahead and grab the toes here. And set key there, there, 22, 30, 42, 50, 60. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and do some rotate Z. We'll drag those toes there, lift them up, and plant them down, and then we're definitely going to offset this so our timing's not exactly the same here. And it's always good, especially in stuff like this, to add some variety so the feet and the hands don't feel like they're moving the same way. By flipping up the timing, changing the posing, changing the height of the steps and each one. It's always good to do stuff like that. So let's go ahead and look at the rotate Z's throughout each part here. I think we're going to do a little less recoil here. Kind of balance it out a little bit more. Okay. And then I want to take tips here and delay the frame. Let's go look at that now. Okay, and then we'll take the inside. No, let's take the outside and we'll delay the frame. So that way we have inner toe base hits, inner toe tip hits, outer toe base hits, outer toe tip hits. So you've got 4 frames to really flop into that contact. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and look at the other side now. Z there, much more loose that one feels than this one. That's why we mix up the timing a little bit as well. So we'll take both of the tips and we'll delay them one frame here. And we'll take outer toe and delay it a frame as well. So it's got to look better. Let's see if we can do a little bit of thumb movement here. That thumb just feels a little too static, so let's go ahead at 5, let's do some thumb curl in, and at 15 we'll do thumb curl out, 25, thumb curl in, 35, thumb curl out, 45, we'll just do this on 10s, right? 55, thumb curl out, back again, and let's go ahead and clean that up because I figured there would be a bunch of other stuff there from when we were keying stuff on the fingers. And it doesn't have to be a lot, but just so we get some movement on that thumb here. I think we might have done too much out, so let's go ahead and just get that back a little bit. There we go. I feel like it's really pushing out as much now. We probably need to do a little bit less. Okay, now go ahead and approach the other thumb pretty much the same way here. Try not to vary the index here. Push it forward a frame. Pinky finger, push it back a frame. There we go. We'll sort of do that on this side. Let's loosen that up a little bit more. Okay, and let's go into the thumb. A little bit out. A little bit in. A little bit out. A little bit in. A little bit out. In. And back again. And again, that's probably too much on the thumb. So I'll squash it down. Let's go look at it now. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's go save that and see what we can do with this jaw. Should we do a bounce on it or should we do an open? Let's do a quick open. Let's see. So this sort of kind of clenches his jaw. Go out again. A little tighter. Like 2 frames. We pop open again. Go out again. And go back in. Let's go look at that again. Maybe we can do a little bit less of that. Let's see. No, I think I'm going to stick with a different approach to that. And it's going to be to have a really open and floppy jaw. exaggerate it, and then we can always pull it back. Let's see here. Actually, it's kind of more of what I was thinking anyways. Let's go even further with that. Let's really open it up there. Close it there. In there too. Just do a really floppy jaw. Okay. Let's go and clean that up here. Again, I don't want this to feel very even. I'm gonna have some sides that flop more than other. Close it a little more. Yeah, let's close it a little bit more. And pull back the rotate line a little bit more as well. It's just I still want the hinges of the jaw to feel like they're there. It's just too broken. Let's go pull it back here. I don't want as much bounce now, so I'm going to have to minimize that a lot more. That's alright. So we keep it like that. Alright, I think that works for today. Maybe we do something different for... Yeah, let's go ahead and let's save our file here real quick. Let's really add another level of creepiness to it by adding a little bit of claustrophobia to it. People are always scared of small places, so let's put a creepy creature in a tight enclosed space, and that'll make it creepier. Cube, just framing our shot a little bit better. Cube, just another one. Good. Put that back. And we'll go ahead and tilt these to give us all that better perspective. push this one out a little more just so that it's not. So we still got a little bit of background there. Let's see. Yeah, that feels better. Let's turn where it curves off. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, let's go ahead and assign new material, Lambert, to the back. Let's go ahead and make that muted dark red. Just makes it more ominous. I feel like that works alright. Again, notice there's more of an elbow controller here, so we could get in and tweak some stuff with that. I'll do another cursory look here just for the heck of it. I'm pretty sure there's no elbow controller here, unless I'm missing something there. Oh, there it is. Okay. Come back to perspective 1. Or the perspective here. Curves, surfaces, and polygons. Let's go ahead and pull that out a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Now let's go and do the same. This one. Bring it over a little bit. And go back to vertical. And then we'll turn our curves off. Select out of the box, and it's going to look at that. Feels better. Alright. I'm glad we did that. Okay, so let's take a look back at where we started, looking at the wonderful work of Brian Bolland today. And he said, drawing comes naturally, but also it is hard work. It never gets easier. You soon find it's hard to draw, but you do it because you don't know how to do anything else. And I think that's the kind of big part of finding your passion, finding out what it is that no matter how difficult it gets, no matter how many obstacles come in the way, you want to pursue it and you want to grow in there, and no one's going to tell you that it doesn't matter if people give you praise or if people give you criticisms, but you're going to continue pushing and trying and developing and learning and growing and all of that stuff. And I think that's why it's important to find what it is. Maybe drawing isn't your thing, maybe animating isn't your thing, maybe it's knitting little tiny sock creatures and selling them on Etsy or something, where just find what it is that you're passionate about and don't give up on it. Alright, that being said, I love you guys lots. And if you do have any kind of comments or critiques, if you end up using this rig to go off and make your own animation, share it down below so that I can give you definitely some encouragement and let you know that I'm rooting for you guys. And that being said, I think that'll do it for today, so we'll see you for some more animation tomorrow.